Hi, friends. This is Miss Stapp, and I know you expected today to be just like every other class day where we had a Zoom or maybe an in person class, but today is actually an asynchronous day for you. Surprise! It is a professional development day for me where I'm going to be working on personal project things that will help you in the classroom. So, you're going to be working on Summative B today, and there are three things that I want to go over. One, and this is very important, in order to receive attendance for today, attendance credit, you're going to need to do the PFL that I have on ManageBack. I'm going to go over that in just a minute, but the PFL is your proof of progress. You're using today's class time in order to work on Summative B, and then at the end of the class period today, you will submit proof of progress to me on your notebook. That's the way I'm going to take attendance and also gauge how you're doing on your summative. Number two, today I'm going to go over a tip on your personal projects, and we're going to talk about how much time you should be spending outside of the classroom. Three, I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about summative B and going over that in this short video. So you can go back and watch it again and again. And I also have in our lesson plans for today other videos and the written plan. In your formative section under your tab, you have a condensed plan, which is sometimes easier. It's kind of a checklist as you go through of everything that needs to be in your summative. All right, let's take it from the top. Number one, let's start with our personal project tip of the day. Last time we got together, we talked about your research and you came up with some ideas about different sources that you might use. Things like interviewing experts, things like articles from the internet or articles from magazines. You thought of books and maybe web pages. So we have a lot of information out there that you could use, and you need to choose a wide variety and demonstrate that that is a research skill that you have. Now it's time to do the research. All right, I'm ready to find some stuff out, but how do I create good research questions? I've got a video here for you. Watch it and you'll get some idea of what research questions start with. And then I've created a little tutorial walkthrough on how you can come up with these questions. So these questions should be smart, they should be significant, and so forth. And after you learn how to create those research questions, the next thing you're going to need to do is decide how you're going to organize and save that information. So I asked you if you were familiar with annotated bibliographies, and most of you said you were. I have an example here of an annotated bibliography, and that is a great way to keep your information. However, you know I'm a big fan of tables. So another method that you might use in order to collect and organize your research is a table like this, where you can put all your resource details, you can put notes, and then you even have that evaluation piece at the end, because you know you're going to need to demonstrate how you can do that in the report. Finally, down at the bottom, I have a final piece that you might use. This is how a student out there in the real world set up their research. And you can see that they have written out some notes about that research that they've collected. They have the citation information. And then finally, they have the evaluation of that information. We went over CRAP and other testing methods are things that you have learned in classes outside of mine. So make sure you keep all of that in mind while you collect and evaluate your data. I have not put this in a formative section for you, but under your own personal project section, you could potentially keep this in your research. If not, depending on what kind of process journal you have, that would be a great place to save all your research. Now, this is one of the things that your supervisor may have already asked you, or they will be asking you when you meet. What kind of research do you think you're going to get, or what kind of research have you already done? So, if you haven't started, it's okay. Tell them about the different styles of sources that you are going to use and start brainstorming with your supervisor on where you're going to get this information, what kind of information you might be, and how you're going to organize it. That's your tip for today. And it's time to move along to our lesson. I'm taking you to be summative in the content library lesson. And here you will see again a reminder about when your summative B is due. Summative B for this B class is due on Monday, October 26th at class start because we will be sharing these with our classmates. We might not all get to share, but I hope most of us get to during that class period. I do want to add here that our summatives are turned in at a little different place. Mostly we put things on notebook. For your summatives, I would like you, our last one now and moving forward, to always put the summative assignment in teams. I have put an assignment in that has your class period on it, and it states that it is summative B, and you will just add your link. Now, remember, if your link is not viable, if it doesn't go anywhere, or your video is corrupt, or I can't access your video for whatever reason, it's not there. And you will get a 0 on your summative. So if I were you, I would have a friend test it out first. I would share my link with a friend and make sure they can access it. If they can, I can. Then go ahead and put your link when you're done, before next class period, up on assignments, your class period, under Be Summative. Great job. Okay. It's not showing up right now, but if I click on this Be Summative exemplar, you're going to see the exemplar that I've created and I've shown to you during class. I want you to go through and make sure after you've done some slides that you know what the slideshow should look like. Now you're going to have to choose some software or a program that allows you to place audio into your video. Again, choose something that allows you to place audio into your video because this is a presentation. I will be grading based on the rubric, but presentation is something that you were supposed to be doing, especially in B. And you can pretend that you are a professional out there in the world and you're creating this brilliant presentation of your product to pitch to your client. All right. So in the content, I go step by step, and there are usually pictures here that will show up in a little bit, as is the way you know of Notebook. Step by step with pictures of each slide. I start with slide number 1, and I do say that you have to identify the summative. You have to write your name and your class period. If there's no name on it, you will not get a grade. All right. Slide 1, let's see, sorry, slide 2, which is B1, is create a slideshow to showcase your specifications. Now, specifications for this product should sound familiar. You are still working on your system. It is the system that we will use for the entirety of this unit all the way through December. And you've already written out your specifications in B1 and B2, okay? You're not recreating specifications. Those are the ones you should be using, and just drop them into a slide. The next slide, you're going to create a slide to show your 3 feasible ideas. Now you can see my picture came up. The 3 ideas, and again, make sure that I can see these slides, that I can read labels. Mine is pretty blurry. So if you have taken a photo of your 3 feasible ideas that I cannot see, then they are not there. Okay, hopefully you've saved everything and you did a good job as you went along of keeping those images nice and crisp. The next slide here is B3. This is create a slide to show your chosen design. Excuse me. And as you can see, I've added, or actually my student has added some really nice labels over Access FM, and that's the annotation I'm looking for at this point. Slide B3 continued is over the table information where you have the justification of whether or not those specifications are made apparent in this chosen design and how you will evaluate whether the success of the design in the end. Remember, you're creating nice design plans and or a model, and that's how you will evaluate. This might be several slides, and I go to that a little more in depth in my exemplar. All right, before, this is what we were working on in the last class period, and this is everything I want to see on the before slide. Now, steps 7 through 10, we go over the presentation and what I want to hear you talking about. Remember, I don't want to hear you read. I can read your slide, and in fact, when I'm grading, I will stop your video and we will look critically at each piece of information on the slide. But your presentation should be as if you were pitching this to a client. All right, another little reminder down here, provide a link to your video to teams, assignments, your class period summative, be summative on the day that it's due before class. At the very bottom, I have a rubric that I will use to grade. And remember that today, in order to receive credit, you must do the PFL, which is proof of progress. So I would like to see the slides that you've worked on today, and you'll provide images and put them into your notebook for me under PFL. Let me click over there. It's been a long day. I'm sorry if I'm talking a little slow and crazy. All right. Under PFLs, I have a B summative proof of progress. It tells you when this is due. Okay. And then it says what I would like to see. Take images of the slides you are using on your summative and paste them below. If no images of your slides are added to this page, you will not receive credit for attendance. So images here. You guys know there are a number of ways to provide images. You can make a PDF. I like just cutting and pasting. I use Windows and that works really well on my notebook here. But make sure that they show up. I would also keep those images in another place in case there's any question, because you know we've had some glitchy notebook issues. So if I need them, you will have stored them either on Word or on Google or some other document that you can quick email them to me. All right, that's it for the day. Again, one more time. You have done personal project. You know how you should be recording, hopefully, your research. It can be in a number of manners. It can be in an annotated bibliography. It can be in a table with things like what the research is, what the citation is, and how you have evaluated that research, or some other method. Okay, make sure you go back to your process journal and go through that list so you can see all the things that you should be doing as you go along. We are still in criterion A, which is investigation. After this, we will be moving into criterion B, planning. The second thing you should be working on and thinking about today is that there is a task due. It's in your PFLs under your personal tab, and you need to show me proof of progress for summative B. So I would like to see visuals of your slide. Number 3, your summative B is due. It's going to be due on Monday before class period. You need to share a link with me through Teams. If you have any questions, please send me an email and I will respond to you as quickly as possible. I hope you have a great weekend and I'll talk to you soon.